The idea that your name can influence your destiny. Blossom almost sounds like a metaphor for growth, vitality, fragrance. Do you ever feel that your name almost destined you for a world of beauty and aromatherapy?
Yes, that's definite. I do think so because, I was named. It was really interesting that I was named Blossom. My father was in the coffee plantation and they used to wait for the blossom. So that is how I got the name of Blossom. And I really feel, it has helped me a great deal. Though at that time, I used to think, it was very frivolous and Blossom and others had these exotic names. But then I think that was really, not only with that, with everything. It is so fresh, it is so wonderful, and I think that is a lovely name they gave me.
What does aromatherapy mean to you beyond its pure commercial value?
It is a part of life. Actually, I don't say part of, it's a way of life. And in fact, that is how I had followed it, as a way of life, because these oils do, they can make you relaxed, they can make you feel ready for work. They have a wonderful thing for healing and anti-aging, and it's very good for beauty. Now, aromatherapy can be used in 3 ways. One is we can use it for beauty. So that's where I took it up, which was very easy. The other, it is for your mind. Like if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling too hyper, if you want to think, you want to focus, you can use aromatherapy. The third, it is for any stress-related ailments. For example, hormonal problems, it's excellent for. It's excellent for also any aches and pains. So we used to use it for that. So this is how I used to use it, and I got into started working on it and going through with it. For me, it is really a way of life. I use it from morning to night and for everything that I have.
You now are globally in many countries. How do you balance your product authenticity and to these pressures of scale, right? Because now you have to ship it, it has to be a certain manner, it has to have a certain shelf life. How do you do that? I'm
at the factory, not all the time because I've got other things also, but I go there for when we have a batch. I check each thing. They'll find you after they check it in their thing. It comes to me because apart from what we are doing, it has to also go with the client, with the face. And I started the same and I do it the same. It goes with family, with friends, where we are testing it.
So all your new products are friends and family tested?
Yes, and very well.
Hello and welcome to CXO Connect. Today's guest is Dr. Blossom Kochhar, a pioneer of aromatherapy in India with over 3 decades in the space. From founding Blossom Kochhar Aroma Magic to shaping thousands of careers through the Blossom Kochhar College of Creative Arts and Design, her journey represents vision, innovation, and impact. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Kochhar.
It's a real pleasure.
Before we get into the conversation and get into your journey, let me start with a slightly light and funny question over something that struck me.
Yeah.
There's a concept which is known as nominative determinism. The idea that your name can influence your destiny. Blossom almost sounds like a metaphor for growth, vitality, fragrance. Do you ever feel that your name almost destined you for a world of beauty and aromatherapy?
Yes, that's definite. I do think so because I was named. It was really interesting that I was named Blossom. My father was in the coffee plantation and they used to wait for the blossom. So that is how I got the name of Blossom. And I really feel, it has helped me a great deal. Though at that time, I used to think, it was very frivolous and Blossom and others had these exotic names. But then I think that was really, not only with that, with everything. It is so fresh, it is so wonderful, and I think that is a lovely name they gave me.
You're widely recognized, and rightly so, as the pioneer of aromatherapy.
Yeah.
What first drew you to beauty and more specifically to aromatherapy?
Now, there were 2 things connected. One was, of course, when I was young also, I was very interested. I think this name had brought it out. I was very interested in flowers and aromatherapy and other things. And for example, when I used to go on holidays, I was studying in the boarding. And the nuns used to give me, when I used to get a cold, they'll give me this eucalyptus to smell. And then we had exams and we were very nervous. They'll give us lemon verbena that were all growing over there. So that was one. And when I used to go back, I used to, make things with the flowers and with the other leaves and other things. So, and I used to keep using them. Some were good, some were very drastic because I never used to take those little insects out of that and they'll give you a full allergy. But that is how I had gotten to it. And then, of course, later on, I started with education. When I first came, I started with a little beauty salon. And then we went into education, teaching, because that needed. And for the education, I needed a product. And of course, I started with the product, and then I used to have this little salon also. And in that salon, I used to make the product for the clients and do it. Like I used to make, for example, I'll make a cream and then I had to perfume it. So I used to use an essential oil, which the Nilgiris are full of these oils. I used to use that. So then they used to tell me that, my cold went, or I was feeling much more relaxed, and other things, glow used to come to the skin. So that is how I had actually started with aromatherapy there. But it went further when I met a Ved. One day I was walking down and he said, what are you doing? So I was telling him this. And he told me that this is part of the Rasayana Tantra, and that is where the rejuvenation, the book of rejuvenation. So he started teaching me things. So actually this of aromatherapy was Ayurvedic aromatherapy. So it suited really well. Apart from that, of course, I also used to use it in the school because we had to make a cream and we used to use this. And at that time, the only creams available were Pond's and Charmis. I couldn't give that to clients or teach them. So that is how it went on with it. And I got into it.
With decades of global learning, and you've clearly worked at making this a venture which is very focused on education and very focused on learning. What does aromatherapy mean to you beyond its pure commercial value?
Oh, it is a part of life. Actually, I don't say part of, it's a way of life. And in fact, that is how I had followed it, as a way of life, because these oils do, they can make you relaxed. They can make you feel ready for work. They have a wonderful thing for healing and anti-aging, and it's very good for beauty. Now, aromatherapy can be used in 3 ways. One is we can use it for beauty. So that's where I took it up, which was very easy. The other, it is for your mind. Like if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling too hyper, if you want to think, you want to focus, you can use aromatherapy. The third, it is for any stress-related ailments. For example, hormonal problems, it's excellent for. It's excellent for also any aches and pains. So we used to use it for that. So this is how I used to use it, and I got into started working on it and going through with it. For me, it is really a way of life. I use it from morning to night and for everything that I have.
When you started, and you said that you started small and you were,
Mm-hmm.
mixing your mixing it with essential oils because there was nothing available in the market. When you started, let's say, Aroma Magic, what was your vision? Or was there a vision? Did you think it would become this big? Or did you just want to sort of extend it to your clients as a very viable alternative?
I never thought it was going to become so big, but I wanted the people to use it because it was so wonderful. And it was not like, for me, beauty is not just, beauty external. It is a body, mind, and emotions kind of thing. And I knew if you're not feeling good, you're worried and tense, it used to show on the faces. If you're feeling very nervous, again, you'll get a very dry skin. So I wanted them to experience this. So this is really was my aim, to make something that they can experience and that they can really have a wonderful, experience with and use something. And the other thing, this was not just for their beauty. This was also for their homes. They didn't need to use all these synthetic stuff. Because I felt and I saw Synthetic things gave allergies. Synthetic things was not really very good. So that's how I really wanted it. But I didn't think it would go so big commercially. I just wanted everyone. I wanted everyone to have a product of aromatherapy. That was my one aim.
Just for my understanding, though, can't we have an allergy to a natural oil?
Yes, we can. Like I know a person who had an allergy to roses and he was sick in the hospital and they gave him roses and he got so ill. But what happens with this is you will just get an allergy and it goes off in a little while because when you smell it, it goes into your system and it's out. But the same time, what we do is we do a testing. We test for this, but you don't get so much of an allergy from a natural as you do from
A chemical.
a chemical. And the chemical has a worse reaction.
Looking back at your journey, what would you say is the biggest risk you took? Because starting a category and starting 30 years ago, and you can correct
I tell you, the biggest risk.
Yeah.
My biggest risk was going into the factory because one is making it on your kitchen table and giving it to people. And
when was this? When did you start?
My husband had to leave the army, but that's when we really started it because he left the army and that's when I was able to start it. Otherwise, it was just me doing things.
Then from going from small batches or literally making one,
two things.
two, these two,
I had to
doing it at a commercial level.
And a commercial. And there we had to face a whole lot of challenges because when you're doing it big, what happens is we can't, and in aromatherapy, we can't use any synthetic. Firstly, you can't use any petroleum product because that is not going to work with it. So there were no mineral oils and other things. It had to be vegetable oils. Those vegetable oils had to be either proper consistency, not too heavy, not too thin. The other thing is the emulsifiers had to be no chemicals because when you put in a chemical with the other chemical, every natural product, every natural, like you can say, not product, every natural, say, flower or herb or spice, what happened is when we used it and the essential oil with it, what happened is it would go in and it would
disappear.
Yeah, disappear. The other thing is it would curdle. So it was like me throwing out,
Batches and
tons and
batches
batches and not just a small batch, but a big batch. So that was a real challenge.
Formulation then would have been a learning process, which is a 0 to 1 journey.
Absolutely. That was a thing.
And
there was
how
nobody.
did you manage that?
I did it slowly, one step at a time, and then did
Your
it.
trial and error mostly?
Mostly trial and error. Absolutely.
Because there wouldn't have been a formula to do this,
No,
which existed, right?
No formula. And even in the drug authorities, when we had to get this going, they knew nothing about it. So we had to explain it, make them feel it.
But this is all organic. Do you need
It is.
Was that a challenge?
It was a challenge because of the aromatherapy, the oils that go in with it and this.
But it's still organic, right?
Yeah,
And all your products are completely organic.
Absolutely. We had to do it because if you don't do it, it doesn't work.
Getting approvals, getting government licenses and all
that was, yes.
One of the things is now that you have scaled this, you now are in globally in many countries. How do you balance your product authenticity? I mean, the authenticity of the small batch that you were doing for your clients and to these pressures of scale, right? Because now you have to ship it. It has to be a certain manner. It has to have a certain shelf life. How do you do that?
I'm at the factory, not all the time because I've got other things also, but I go there for when we have a batch and I check each thing. They'll find you after they check it in the thing, it comes to me because apart from what we are doing, it has to also go with the client, with the face. And I do animal testing for me, so it has to go. And I started the same and I do it the same. It goes with family, with friends, where we are testing it. So we test it again.
So all your new products are friends and family tested.
Yes, and very well.
It's interesting that you said that because it's almost like, when startups these days.
Yeah.
The first round of funding is always a friends and family
Yeah,
round.
yeah.
So all your products have a friends and family round.
Yeah. Because that's when I really knew how it would go, how it would react, what can happen. That was.
Did somebody have a very bad reaction?
No, my daughter's got the most sensitive skin, and she can only use my products, thank God, because anything else, she will say she gets this and she gets a rash, and she hasn't so far, except once to almond. Now she is very allergic to almond, so anything that's got
Almond
almond
oil or
oil
something,
or
yeah.
anything, then we learnt about it. Now we know, not for her, but for other people, and we write a warning on it also.
So all your products are labeled with a warning.
Yes, quite a lot of them.
But people may not be aware of some having an. I mean, most Indians are. I know it isn't a thing. We don't allergy test ourselves very often, until we have a rash or
No,
something.
but we try to tell them that you should test. It's a good thing to test. And now with all the chemicals, all the things, I think everyone needs to test their product before they use it. Not just my product, but I think any product, it has to be tested.
Do you think this kind of clean, sustainable beauty? Of course, you've been at the forefront. You've worked on educating people.
Yeah.
You've trained people to use these products. You've also educated, I would say, consumers in a much more meaningful manner, right? Because it's a new category. You've had to do that.
Yeah.
Do you see that consumer awareness is evolving right now, and where would you like to see it go?
I think, and I'm so happy it's evolving, and I'd love it to go even further. They have to know what they're putting on their skins, because, like I say this, and again I'm going to say it, what you put on your skin is, goes into your body, and you have to be very, very careful. So they can only be careful if they are aware, they look at the label, they ask their questions, and I feel it's up to us to really answer those questions and to see that they're using the correct product. Very important.
We all talk about using organic things, whether it's in food, beauty. Also, Ayurveda has now sort of made a resurgence. We've always had those dadi ma ke nuske around our houses, and that is primarily Ayurveda, or all our traditional meals are constructed in a way where it facilitates digestion. Ayurveda, yoga, everything's making a holistic wellness. Things are making a sort of big comeback. Where do you, from your standpoint, where would you want to see the consumer be? What kind of awareness do you think is still lacking?
I think a lot of them, because the labeling is very tiny, a lot of them, they just glance through it. I feel they should really look into it. That's one. They should get, if they're wanting to use something, we have these, when the beauticians are there, they should ask them, what is it, and see how it goes. They should go into testing, which is very important. And it's very simple. Put a little on your wrist, cover it up with or put it in the crook of your arm, cover it with a plaster, and after, by say 24 hours, just take it out, and you will see what is the result. So why they should do that? Because if they test, then they shouldn't just follow. Somebody says this is good, and they'll use it. Somebody says, and it could cause harm, a lot of harm. But so they should just, I feel they should be more aware, more look into their product more, and then go into it. Really.
The other thing, which is also education, but in a different way, through your college, you've trained about 35,000 professionals.
Yeah, so many.
What was your thought behind entering education? I mean, training professionals.
Yeah.
And what is it that you're most proud of today?
Okay, I'm very proud of training them. That's the most important this for me. And how I went into it, because when I went into beauty myself, I started with this little salon in Wellington because my husband was in the army. And I found out when I was looking for it and looking for an education to go in, I had to do, my education was all either abroad or trial and error when I had to do the practical. There wasn't much practical education. So then I went in, I got the education down from an organization called Pivot Point, which is in Chicago. And it was wonderful. It was very systematic and scientific. And they also had a way of, teaching you that if you hold it at this angle, you'll get this, and it was a wonderful system. So that was the education I brought down, because I felt India needed education, really, because what is it? It is not just cutting hair. Your hair is live. Your hair is you. It is your skin. And, you had to really know the science behind it.
It's not about making people
Yeah,
fairer.
yeah. It's not about making people fairer. It's not about, just cutting their hair into fat. You had to know everything. So that is how I got this education. And we started with the education. And that has done a great deal. And I'm so proud of many of the people, and in fact, all of them, who are doing so very well in their profession. And it's really good, because when you're well educated, your beautician knows you're not going to get a problem. So that is what is their thing.
You're also the chairperson of the Beauty and Wellness Sector Skills Council.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And in that, you're sort of setting national skilling standards.
Yeah.
What's next in India's wellness talent ecosystem? What are you looking at when you're doing these standards?
Now, when we're doing these standards, we want them to follow again. Like, it should be wellness, it should be yoga, it should be also the beauticians and the hair designers and anyone that come out from there, the makeup artists, your wellness artists and the spa. They have to have an education. They have to know their things. And it's not just for the towns and for those who can afford it. From here, it goes with the government. It goes all over into the rural areas. So they're really learning, working, and it's giving them a livelihood. It's making them entrepreneurs quite a lot. It's giving them jobs. So this is really what is our thing for that. And the standards are, we have these assessors. When they do their education, they go and assess them, and then only they get their certification. The other thing is they have continuous learning also. You may be a hairdresser or a beautician or someone, but you always have to know what's the latest, what is coming up. So that is another program, that is the RPL, where prior learning, we help them with that thing going through. So this is what is the thing that is there. And they go step by step. We have the whole thing where they can reach right up to the top. And yoga is very much part. Again, it's all over and going all over the world also. Yoga is there. Nutrition is another one, which is just started, because this whole thing makes a package. You can't just be beautiful, I say, with just cutting or doing a facial. You have to have the nutrition, you have to have the exercise, you have to have your mind, your happiness, your other stuff that is there with it. That whole thing goes. Mindfulness is all the part of it.
How do you see skill development panning out? And I'll tell you why, because while I may not know much about beauty, my standard experience is that when my friendly neighborhood barber went from being a barber to a hairdresser, he was as good or as bad. And I sort of never see the value of them putting up a couple of these certificates on their walls. Where are you sort of trying to create that value? What is exactly the outcome of this upskilling that you're
now
looking at?
Upskilling, that now we are of course trying to get it. Really, that's what we are working
Correct.
on.
What are you looking at is
we are looking at where we can get them licensed by an authority like the government or something like that, or licensed either by that or another body, maybe a private body, but will go with the thing. Because if you get them licensed, when you walk in that you're going to have a
certain standard, a certain hygiene to
the whole thing. Otherwise, no, they are just studying and going. So there are foreign organizations also that we are trying to
which do
work with, that we are trying to work with. Like Sedesco is one for beauty, comes there. And if we can get that, as we are working with that, if we can get that into like for everyone, that is going to help a great deal, So they get their license. So the government is one which we would really love that they license. And I think, and the beauty and wellness certification right now, and what we are and we trying to do is that they display these certificates. If you display a certificate, and they know they're coming to a licensed person, that's going to make a very big thing. So this is something that is being worked at.
The other thing that struck me is this is a sector which employs a lot of women.
Yeah.
How do you see this working for women's empowerment, not just in rural India, but across the country?
I think this can work like all over, for the simple reason is, women, like I know when we've been educating them, especially widows and others that we've been doing, we find that they are not allowed out of their house, okay? And they have to look into their things. But if when we are educating them, if we can, this is again what I'm looking at is that we make a kind of a corporate. So they can come in there when their husbands are, gone to work, and that little while they have, they can take their clients and they can get paid. And the other thing is they're freelancing also over there. Like we teach them certain things like hairstyles and makeup and mehndi. So when the marriages come, they can do. So to be self-sufficient, this is really what is one aim that I really feel is we have to make them self-sufficient. And that is going to not only help them, but the family also, and give them that respect, that regard, and that confidence that they need. And this is something we are working towards, but we have to work towards. I think it is, again,
Far more.
Far more. This is
What are the gaps?
The gaps is we have to go and start. The main thing is starting, doing, setting it up. And when you set it up, it has to be with a panchayat, it has to be with this, it has to be with that. And we can really work it, because we have to make these women self-sufficient.
We sort of saw from your LinkedIn profile, and I'm sort of revealing how we research, right? But we saw from your LinkedIn profile that even after so many decades of professional success, you're attending business leadership programs or digital leadership programs with various universities. What drives you to this continuous?
I'll tell you, because you have to continuously learn. If I just sit and say, well, I've learned everything and this is okay, we are not going to grow. Education is important. And like from each of these things that I learned, like I did Cambridge and I did the other thing for the AI before it came in also, each thing that we learn something. We can make not only us, but the people around us into better. And if I don't go on learning, I don't think my people will go on learning. I feel education and continuous education is very, very, very important, I think that is important.
AI course, what are the aspects that you've been able to sort of incorporate into your business?
One is that we've done it in the, one is of course our ChatGPT, but that is just normal. That's nothing. The others, we've incorporated it into our factory and into the godowns that we keep, of how when the thing is finishing, will be inventory automation, because that was one of my main things of going into it. And that has helped a great deal, that is one thing.
How do you sort of keep pace even with continuous learning in a world where trends are changing, consumers are changing, technology is evolving?
Traveling. You travel.
So that's also continuous learning.
Yeah.
Right?
So this travel, there is these organizations have helped me also greatly. PhD, ASSOCHAM, where there are a whole lot of these business heads.
How many countries have you traveled to?
All over, except I haven't been to Australia.
What's your favorite destination?
My favorite was where I grew up with my family also, my brothers and all that, in Canada. It was a very small town, but in Canada, British Columbia, where we were there. And that was one of my favorite that I used to go to. But otherwise, there is every place is something, it teaches you something. It's wonderful. But you can't just travel and just be there. You have to go in also into, finding out.
You just can't be a tourist.
Yeah, you have to find out also what happens in which and when. When
you go to a new place, what is your usual curiosity trajectory? If I can put it that way.
One is food.
Okay.
The other is how they live. It is so interesting how they live. And what do they, then of course it used to be my beauty thing also. What are their beauty?
Give me an example of where you've gone into a certain country and learned something and incorporated it back into something you built into some of your products.
Built into products every time. This will come in. Like if I go to France, of course, France is one because of the oils and that is the thing, and the lavender and other things that you go to. If you go to Nepal, there again, they are so rustic and they, that is something. And they follow a lot of wonderful things like the yoga, the sound thing that they use. So those are the little things that you bring and we can use back again. And of course, now we're going to go into oncology, massages, because we work a lot with these.
Palliative care.
Yeah, like oncology, because we work a lot with the cancer. Cancer people, that's in from our foundation, and especially kids with cancer. And what I have found is if you know how to do your lymph drainage properly and, soothe them and with the oil and this thing, so that helps them a great deal. And also the people who have cancer, like say breast cancer, others, their skin, they want to also feel good and, look good. So I'm going into that now so that can help a lot of these people. The massage.
Your life experiences, share with us something that you've taken as a leadership learning, but which you couldn't have learned in a classroom.
Leadership learning. Everything. Like marketing, again, you're right from production to marketing. Like when I started the whole thing, and when I look into it, I say, oh God, I used to do this even before. Like the marketing, how do you market? Like I feel marketing is something that it should be where it's out of the box and it's a touch, feel and, a sensory experience. It cannot be just an ad, and unless you're able to show it like that, you're able to give them that experience.
In your case, a lot of it must have been word of mouth, right?
When I started, it was word of mouth and exhibitions. I feel exhibitions are
where you can demonstrate your.
Yeah, it is one of the best places to do this sort of a thing. So this is what was there. And of course, strategy is something which, as it goes, I started learning a lot with that. Finance was not my strong point. No.
Has it become your strong point?
It's trying to become, but
you're not letting it become?
I think so.
How do you sort of, now that you've much larger teams from the small setup, how do you sort of mentor and constantly inspire your teams to think and act purposefully and innovatively?
I constantly meet with them. This is something I've made it.
How many people do you have? Ballpark?
We have about 300 or 400, something like that. So, and it's all over the country. But I constantly try to meet with them, with these groups, so that I can know them. Then education is another for them, because the product, they have to know your product. You have to know what you're doing before you can sell it. And this is something like that. So that is how I'm doing it, meeting. And I travel a lot. That's how I travel a lot all over, meet them. And also thanks to now, you can do a video calling. I love that. But I feel I like to meet. Maybe I've got that old-fashioned thing that I do like.
You like the touch and feel and physical interaction.
Yeah, I need to physically interact with them. So that comes from them.
Do you think post-pandemic there's been a change in your industry? Has there been a change in the way you do business, the consumers perceive things?
Absolutely. It is like now the traditional it is in a little flux, which I found. But the AI, this thing, e-commerce and thing that is going. So we were very lucky. We started, my grandson, in fact, he started this e-commerce just before COVID struck. So that was really something. And now that is doing well. This is in a flux right now, but I feel they just are finding their way. And
so you prefer the brick and mortar business, but you're seeing success with e-commerce.
Yeah, I like I suppose that is fun. But one thing I have found, like you have to get in young people into your thing. And I'm very lucky. For me, I passed it on to my daughter who was younger, and now she has passed it. And then we have our grandson coming in, and even the people, because old is important, but we need those young minds.
So what parts of the business are your daughter and grandson manage?
My daughter, she's the managing thing of the whole. She does that. And my grandson is finance and exports and other things.
And you are still looking into products in a more active way.
Products. I'm very good. I'm very good at products.
So you're not letting go of that portfolio.
No, I won't. Why?
You don't trust others to do as well.
No, they will do, but I always poke my nose. But the whole thing, I do like to go there and see what
we
and also to demonstrate the product, see what it is, tell people about it. That's this thing that I do, and everything. In fact,
have you seen consumer attitudes towards wellness and beauty change post pandemic?
Oh yeah,
like the kind of products you're selling more, or the kind of things that consumers are now
absolutely
trying to adopt.
Yeah, they're all going into clean beauty. Most of them now, it's become a trend like clean beauty, and they are going in for more natural, and that's something that they are going. And of course, also find that they are more into the grandmother's kind of a thing also, because, and especially the Gen Z set, because they want the natural. They are looking for that thing that they have. And they are a lovely set. It's really, they teach us a whole lot. They're the ones who look at what's on your product. They're the ones who'll answer you. They're the ones
you really seem to like Gen Z.
I love.
But it's funny how things come back, because you were talking about your grandmother's kitchen recipe coming back. It's just interesting how a lot of things have made their way back into our lives, or have grown in importance, or at least we know that we're consciously doing it.
They know. And it's something, even the food has changed. Everything. They're not going into anything that they want organic. They're looking for it, and they're really getting what they want. It's good.
Also, you're in a business where, authenticity is important, to where trust is very important, because it is ultimately a very, very intimate consumer product.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how do you sort of maintain that authenticity and that trust with your consumers in a day and age where you can get everything online, but there's equal amount of misinformation? And online is, of course, less about touch and feel. So how do you maintain that?
One is, of course, we have the Instagram and all that, the media that is there. But other things, I feel that from time to time, you have to meet with them, and they can have exhibitions. Now, where do we meet our people? We go there. Now, I feel that I really need to go there. And it may be only for half a day or something, but going there, you get to meet them. We have to go to places where we can meet our consumers and get our consumers. So that is, in fact, I try to meet my consumers as much as possible.
You recall an instance where you've sort of changed your product or formulation or the way you do things based on consumer feedback?
Yes. Now, there was this lady, something she had asked, she told me that she would like a serum of mine that I made to be a little lighter. She said, I feel it is a little heavy, and it was before light. And I listened, and I came back and made it. And right enough, when I did see it, it was a little thicker. So they were adding a certain thing which was thicker. So I went back and did it. I'm always listening to them. She says, this color is not good. I say, okay, we will go in and look at it. So whatever is not good, I ask them to send the product back, look at that product, see what it is, ask them what is their feedback, and do it. Even for the salons, we cater to a lot of salons.
And when you changed that formulation, did it do better? When you made it lighter, it did
believe it or not, it did much better, because it was a little thing. So they are, in fact, my sounding board, and they tell me what they want. And the way I can meet them is at these little functions, at the places I go to. And they know if they tell me, I will change the thing for them.
It's also struck me that in this sort of day and age where everybody is going in for organic products, in your space also competition is increasing, because 25 years ago there would be scarcely an MNC building a product like this, but now everybody is into that. So how do you sort of maintain relevance and competitiveness when you're taking on some of these much bigger multinational corporations or bigger companies?
Now, when they take one more thing is, I always believe, that you should be in competition with your own self. Of course, look at what is happening around, but don't lose yourself trying to, get into that. So I always believe that we have to look at what we can do, how we can do it, find out what is happening, and change what we can in the problem. And don't, they are in their space, we are in our space. And I always say India's got so much of this space. Everyone can come in and get into this kind of a.
As long as your space is expanding, you're good.
Yeah, I'm happy.
How do you personally define your success today? And has that definition evolved over time?
I'm happy doing what I want, firstly. This is a passion for me, like aromatherapy, making products, meeting people, making them look beautiful. That is my passion. So that is something which is wonderful. And I'm glad I have that because it's not a work. And then I'm happy doing it. That's one of the things for success. And these are the things, actually, I feel it is something, success is something, it's very internal. It cannot be something that is outside. I mean, my success is just my happiness and being happy, seeing my family is happy. And it's a very...
What a wonderful way of defining success.
Yeah, that's
happiness.
My success is that.
How you've taken to technology, especially we're talking about digital marketing and AI. Has that in any way influenced how you approach not just consumer engagement, but how you approach your basic business in wellness and beauty today?
Yeah, now wellness and beauty is like really now it's going into a whole lot of technology. So I'm glad, only thing I'm glad that I started doing this in a different small way. And really, I would love to, whatever happens, I will keep learning, I know, and keep going into it further and further because it helps. It really helps. It brings the time down like this. Before we will take one day or something to make something. Now it comes. The only thing I feel, of course, the testing of the product goes into the technology, the testing of the raw material, testing of the product. But making the product also they have it. But I feel there has to be that human touch that will come in. We will have to see it. They will test it, of course, but we will have to retest it. That is something that has to be done. And that's something I've not given to AI or anything. I wouldn't give it. We would like to do that.
Do that yourself.
Because that is what we feel. Yeah.
Okay. This is ubiquitously a rapid fire round, but you don't need to be rapid. There is no fire.
Okay.
One daily ritual that you'll never skip.
Exercise.
How much do you exercise in a day?
I exercise in the gym and yoga, both today. So one day yoga, one day gym. That's what. But I don't.
About an hour a day.
Yeah, that's one I won't give up. There are two, in fact, and the other is meditation. These are those little three things that are mine. Meditation and exercise has to be there. Otherwise.
What's your favorite essential oil and why?
Lavender, because it treats all sorts of things. If you can't sleep, you use a little lavender here, and here, you can go to sleep. If you got an ache and pain, if you got your neck paining, put lavender there, put it on your knees, put it on your, wherever the pain is, and it goes away in 5 minutes. The other thing is if there's a burn, just say I burn myself, I can just put lavender straight and it'll heal without a scar. Skin, it's excellent for skin. So it's the best oil. I call it the king of all oils.
One skincare myth that you wish everyone would stop believing in?
Yeah, cleaning your face twice a day. But I feel. That is what I feel. And others feel they don't need to. But that is a myth that you have. But I feel you have to clean your face.
Is there a particular sort of go-to-bed routine that you have for?
Yeah. You have to clean your face twice, double cleanse, because first you're cleaning and then you're again massaging.
And this is gender neutral advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And then you have to use a light. You use a serum. Maybe you can use a serum and you can just use a light moisturizer. This is something you must do before going to bed. You can even skip the moisturizer, but you have to do this cleansing. Cleansing, double cleansing is the must.
A mentor that's been life-changing?
That's my mentor in this place, in Chicago, who, in fact, where I learned all this thing from. I mean, he was just amazing. He taught me how to really live with my legs on my ground and my head in the just, not to let anything go to your head and not to get angry about things, but to see how you can very positive thinking. How if something is negative, try to make it positive and go through. Because the more you are positive, you can get anything negative. It's not going. Your mind is just going to be negative, and you can't work.
If you weren't a beauty entrepreneur, what would you have been?
I don't think I'd have been anything else, but I love just being this beauty. And of course, an educationist, which also I am.
You are.
But I will just be. I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
But you don't think there was an alternative career path that you thought of?
No, I never thought of anything else. They were all too difficult for me.
One thing that people often get wrong about beauty and wellness.
They feel that it's very, it's very, what should I say? It is something,
skin deep.
yes, yeah, it's not skin. There's nothing. No, but it's all wrong. It's very, very, it's scientific, and it is something that is very needed. They feel that clothes are good and this is good and brain is good and law is good, but you have to have your little bit of looking after yourself. So that is important. And like a man, he can't just grow his hair. He has to cut his hair. So that is an important thing that is also there. So I feel it's like they all think it's frivolous.
What is your happiest scent memory?
Scent memory.
Or a story around something that sort of a scent that sort of brings back a memory.
Memory for me, yeah. The scent that brings back memory is musk, because my mother used to use musk. My grandmother used to use musk, and I think every one of us. So that is something that really brings it back. And that is, I think, a part of aromatherapy also. Like, this is one thing, when you smell something, it goes and it's in the limbic system, that's where it's processed. That is why when we smell something, and what happens before that, let's tell you, 2% is only 2% we taken through our sense of smell out of everything else. But that 2% out of that 98 goes into your subconscious. So when you smell something, you'll find suddenly, you get the smell, you'll think of your grandmother maybe or somebody, and you'll remember the sari they wear, whatever they were.
Brings back sense, brings back memories.
Absolutely. So this is something that really brings it back, the musk, that is from my mother, grandmother, and they all used to use it. It's a lovely one.
A fragrance for you that captures the essence of India.
Jasmine. Jasmine is beautiful. That is something that is a wonderful scent. And when you smell it, you think of India, because South uses it, North uses it, everyone, and it's a monsoon kind of a thing. And the best thing I can tell you about this is it gives a person confidence. So when you get jasmine, you just this. And the other, if you're feeling blue, not good, a little depressed, smell jasmine. Straight away, it's going to lift you.
A skill that you think you're still learning. And I know you believe in continuous learning, but let's say one skill that you think you need to learn.
Business. That's what
You run such a successful business. I don't know what you need to learn.
I feel I still have to learn more. So I just keep on learning. That's one skill I keep on learning.
And one piece of advice you'd give to young entrepreneurs entering the beauty and wellness space.
An aptitude for it. They should love people. One aptitude. They should love people, because you're going to really, you're going to want to make them beautiful. So these are the two main things I feel, aptitude and thing, and then enter the beauty business. And then, of course, choose a school or a place or a mentor that can really teach you, guide you how to go about it. But these are the two main things.
Looking back at your journey, if there was one thing that you think you could have done differently, what would that be?
When I think it's different, I'd share so straight, but that's what's been my. So it is nothing that I've done different. I think it was okay, and I feel no, it's perfect.
And you don't want to change anything about what you've done or how you've done it.
I love it, and I'll go back straight and do the same thing.
Another life, and you'd still want to do this.
Still want to do it, because it is really good. And the best way to learn is by making your little mistakes and going on and changing it on the way.
So putting it on
And
friends and family.
Yes.
What next for your enterprises, both in terms of products and in terms of training people? What are the next sort of milestones that you're trying to?
Okay, now the next in training, I'm wanting to give them more into massage, and because that again is very wellness. And again, a lot of people I know, even my friends who I know, they get these massage therapists who really don't know the scientific thing of massage. So that is one. Of course, with cancer, we're going into the oncology, that'll be the other. And in products, it's going in for men's, because till now I've been mostly in women. Now it's going to be men's, because I feel the men are a fantastic consumer.
Men deserve some care.
Yes, and they deserve care. They're a very good consumer. So for business, it's good. For everything, it's a wonderful
Why do you
thing.
think men are good consumers? Like, what's the difference between
They don't change. Now you'll find a woman, no, she'll want to go on changing. If you have your salons, they'll change from that one to this one. Product, they'll change this and this. Men will just
creatures of habit?
Yes, and it's really
So
wonderful.
this works. I don't want to change this.
I don't want to change it. So that's the thing.
Dr. Kochhar, thank you for joining us on CXO Connect. Your journey is proof, I think, that when purpose combined with passion, it sort of redefines the industry and it creates categories and it inspires people. So thank you for sharing your story with us. I think that has been a wonderful experience, both for me personally and for our audience.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
And to our audience, I must say that thank you for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to bring you such stories of leaders shaping the future of business and innovation. I'm Prasad Sanyal, and this was CXO Connect. Thank you.